It's Thursday, the 15th of February. Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan, and thanks for joining us for our New Zealand weather update. We've got a lot of high pressure around the country for the next few days, but another cold front and a colder, windier change coming in for the start of next week. And yes, it's followed by more summer-like high pressure. Let's have a look at the animated wind map. Now, the shading today is about UV rays. So wherever you see the purple shading, that is extreme. That means that the sunburn times are very, very quick. So you need to be wearing the suntan lotion, staying in the shade, covering up, wearing hats, and sunglasses. It's important to have sunglasses to protect your eyes as well. So extreme levels, but it drops right off here on the west coast, Southland. The darker green is because of the cloud and the rain bands that are coming through. Please note, colder weather doesn't make any difference to UV rays, but cloud does. If you've got good thick cloud, that does protect you. But certainly at the moment, extreme levels, and they will be around for another couple more months yet. So we've got a cold front, as I just mentioned. This is it moving up the west coast, but it falls apart by the time we get to Friday evening. It is not really going into the North Island, other than maybe producing a couple of showers at the weekend. But for the most part, that front falls apart on the west coast. Let's have a look again at the rainfall totals from that system as it goes through into Saturday evening, and most of that rain still here around sort of Hokitika inland, where you're getting up to 120 millimetres. Elsewhere, just seeing sort of areas of showers popping up. Now, they'll be welcome in some of these dry places like Northland, especially around the Bay of Islands, but unfortunately places like Waikato are looking mostly dry. And of course, you can drill down deeper on our new app and website to get local rainfall totals where you are. So here we are on Friday. Now, the rainfall maps I've got at the moment are a little bit different. They're going to be a bit more colourful, and that's because rather than just showing you the snapshot at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we're showing you 24 hours of rainfall on top of it, not just for that one part of the day. So you can see a little more clearly here, that's where the heaviest rain will be on the west coast as we go through Friday. But elsewhere, it is dry, and that is because there's high pressure to the east and another one parked out here to the west. It doesn't really change a lot going into the weekend. And even with 24 hours worth of rain showing on this map, not very much here. The pale blue only shows about 5 millimetres or so. So not a lot of rain on the way once we get into the weekend itself, but there will be a couple of showers around some of the fringes here and there. Okay, Saturday temperatures pretty hot around the North Island. That's what the orange stands for. So maximum temperatures, most of the coastal places are pretty warm, but once you get inland, I think parts of Waikato and inland parts of Gisborne and Hawke's Bay and potentially Marlborough will be into the higher 20s, maybe getting close to 30 degrees. Big thanks to the weather company for those new maps. All right, as we go into Sunday, again, there's still not a lot of change. High pressure out here to the east, another high out to the west. Basically, the country is smothered in high pressure. You do see a little bit of blue here. Taranaki could see a few showers, coastal parts of Northland, 1 or 2 showers elsewhere, but again, very isolated, hit and miss. Your neighbour might get it, you might not. Have a look at the rain radar as we go through the weekend on top of the percentage chance of rain. That's quite helpful. Sometimes people go, you had a rain icon and we got, no rain, but it might have only been a 40% chance of 1 millimetre, which is basically not much in the way of wet weather. So next week, things change. Again, we mentioned the other day about this autumn weather pattern starting to show up in the lower part of New Zealand. Well, here's another storm, 967 hectopascals and 1022 up here. So that's a big air pressure gradient, and that makes it windy. So windy, hot nor'westers on Monday, 30 degrees plus in some areas if the sun is out in the east. Be pretty hot in the north too, into the mid to late 20s. And then you've also got the rain coming back into the west coast, and then later on, temperatures drop here in Southland. So by Tuesday, colder weather spreads up. The South Island maybe gets to Wellington a bit later on. Generally speaking, a southerly flow for many places. But ahead of that, there's still a windy nor'wester. So you might still get to 28, 29, 30 degrees for that northeastern corner of the North Island. But it will be much cooler down here in Dunedin and Christchurch and everyone in between. But yes, there is the next high coming in. So by Wednesday, that cooler airflow moves up and around, comes into Bay of Plenty, and finally cools down for Wairoa, Gisborne, Mahia Peninsula, those parts. And a little bit of wet weather in here as well, which is well needed. Obviously, the Port Hill fire at the moment. Not a great day today with the nor'wester and the heat, but conditions do improve a little bit over the days ahead. So there is a bit of good news on the way for our very dry parts of the country. But As we touched on yesterday, even with these showers, it's not going to be much. And as soon as the sun comes back out again, it evaporates, dries up whatever just fell. Don't forget, with the temperature changes coming through at the moment and the windy weather, our new alerting app for those who want to upgrade to the paid version, really helpful for those sorts of weather conditions coming in. If you can't afford it, please just download the free version. It's still larger than the 2 government forecasters that you tax fund. Thank you so much to everybody who has downloaded it so far as well. We really do appreciate the support. That is all from me for today. We've got our Australia-only forecast out as well. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow, Friday.